Good evening, fellow patrons. In today's video, I break down the strategy I use to complete the Jingle Hells LTM without using any gobblegums. I will go over everything that is essential to beat this miserably hard event, ranging from loadout, crucial early round prep, and some hidden gems that make completing the Easter egg much easier. I have included the entire boss fight towards the end of the video. This match in particular is undoubtedly the most intense and stressful boss fight I have ever taken on in my zombies career. It was an extremely narrow margin of victory, but hey, a dub's a dub. To kick things off, I'm going to quickly go over my top 5 guns for this boss fight. These are in no particular order, but they are solid options to load into your game with. With how fast-paced and chaotic this fight is, all of these builds have extremely high movement speeds and are insanely easy to fire. The first gun I want to mention first is what I believe to be the biggest dark horse weapon in Black Ops 7 Zombies, the MK78. Maybe I live under a rock or something, but nobody seems to be talking about this gun, and it's a damn shame. It has one of the best prestige attachments in the game. The heat shield mag increases your movement speed and drastically reduces your hipfire spread. The crosshair is literally a cross after you pack punch it. The only downfall is the overheat meter, and that being said, it's very tolerable to use. You can fire 55 bullets before it overheats, and the cooldown between bursts is insanely quick. This is what I loaded in for this match with. I touched on this build in my previous video, but the Breacher is probably the most effective gun for the boss's armor. Everyone knows how good this gun is, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on it. The Nova line is another gun that is beloved by the zombies community, and for good reason. This gun is always on demon time with its pack punch fire rate and critical damage. Fitting this gun with the muzzle spread attachment, quick draw grip, and tack laser makes for effortless crit shots and accuracy when the anti-gravity kicks on in the boss fight. My personal favorite gun in BO7 Zombies is this Akita build. The mobility and handling is among the best in the game, and the Dragonfire attachment paired with the new Lightning ammo mod makes this the ultimate auxiliary weapon for this fight, as you can consistently have an overcharge of your HP if you have the right augments equipped. The Jaeger rounds out the list as another support-like weapon. This is not the most exciting build in the world, but it plays a vital role in this boss fight, which I will cover later in this video as well. Here is a video that shows all of the augments I ran during this match. Equivalent exchange is one of the most essential ones, as you can go down up to 3 times and revive yourself if you inflict enough damage. This is where the Jaeger comes into play. If you have equipped fireworks to the Jaeger and save it as an emergency weapon, the first shot you fire if you go down will activate fireworks, resulting basically in an instant revive. You will want to ADS while doing this, and that is why there is not a Kimbo stock on the gun, as I'm not sure if when you go down if there will be 1 pistol or 2. With Mule Kick being introduced, we all know that you will lose the gun if you go down and lose the perk. However, if revived by equivalent exchange, you keep all of your perks, so you would think that you would have your third gun upon reviving yourself via equivalent exchange. Well, think again. I'm assuming that this is a glitch in the game that needs to be addressed by Treyarch immediately, but in the event that you do go down and revive yourself with equivalent exchange, your third gun will not be in your inventory as your third gun upon being revived. I repeat, your third gun will not be in your inventory, even though the game says you have the Mule Kick perk. It is extremely frustrating. So that being said, the Jaeger needs to be your second weapon, so you will have it equipped as your last stand gun in the event that you do go down. The Blast Through Minor augment for Shatter Blast should be equipped to your primary weapon in order to deal more damage to the boss's armor, and the Booster Shot Major augment from Lightman should be equipped to your secondary weapon like the Akita to get the overcharge to your HP. If you are planning not to be using gobblegums for this challenge, you will need to be strategic in earning salvage and essence. All of the guns I mentioned previously besides the Akita did not have a suppressor attachment. You will need to find one pretty early on in your game so you can maximize your salvage gain. Do not immediately kill the first 6 zombies in round 1. If you progress through the map, you will find various snowmen around the map which will have loot or zombies inside them. These snowmen will regenerate extremely quickly before the round turns, so you can harvest them to earn essence and salvage. In one of my attempts, I racked up around 70 kills in round 1 alone, so it's very easy to make sure you're established in terms of essence and salvage. Sleeping zombies can also be found around the map that will wake up if you get too close to them. You can kill these as well for essence. I would not upgrade anything in terms of rarity on any gun until an ether tool is dropped. A purple one almost always drops in the late teens. Then use the salvage you collected to upgrade the gun you spawned in with to legendary rarity. To ensure you are on track to enter the boss fight as soon as possible, you should try to have the wonder weapon built by round 10, which is the round where you can earliest get the Order of the Planets from Oscar's audio. In this section, I want to go over 3 quick tips and tricks to make this event much easier to complete. There is a lot of useless equipment and weapons that will be dropped from the snowmen you have been destroying in your game. You can essentially convert these items to salvage with the help of the Ravagers. When they spawn in, some will chase you and others will attempt to steal the loot on the ground. If you strategically wait for them to digest the loot, they will turn purple and start running away. When they evolve to this phase, you can shoot them, which will cause a large amount of salvage to be dropped. There's several Easter egg steps that would be much easier if the zombies were much slower, such as the Mars portal trial. If you melee these clocks that are scattered around the map, time will slow down for 60 seconds. This can be done once a round as well. The Zombie Sitter augment from Wisp T is also extremely helpful. I like to purchase this perk right before I need to complete the symbol sequence on Mars, which leads into the final encounter. If you wait to buy the perk right before you need to use it, you can time the Wisp's activation very easily. I like to keep 2 zombies, at which point I will buy the perk and then kill one of the zombies. The Wisp will then immediately activate and start distracting the lone remaining zombie. This should last until the round time expires, which I believe is 10 minutes. Getting into the tactics of the actual fight itself, I suggest using the Akita or the Wonder Weapon in this phase because it is very easy to hit numerous zombies at once. In this match, I chose the Akita because you can equip it with the Lightmanned ammo mod and get that overcharge I was talking about, but the Wonder Weapon would be more beneficial in the final phase. You can stay near this barrel at the top and run a small loop if you incorporate wall jumps. I feel like most people know how to go about completing this phase, so I'm not going to bore you with the details. I advise you to not use your field upgrade charge until the final phase if you can help it. In this match, I intentionally did not use my field upgrade in the rounds leading up to the fight because I was thinking that with the supercharged augment from Speed Cola, I would be able to charge my field upgrade after deploying my 2 charges of Toxic Growth at the very beginning of the final phase. But keep that in mind. I will come back to this later on in the video. In the second phase of the fight, you will want to predominantly use your primary weapon with Shatter Blast and get in rhythm of moving from lit barrel to lit barrel. The Quick Swap Miner augment from Speed Cola will allow you to quickly switch to a different weapon to eliminate regular or special zombies while moving from barrel to barrel. If you are running Equivalent Exchange and the Jaeger with Fireworks, make sure you are using it sparingly as you will need to save the activation of the ammo mod for a potential future down. I would advise you not to get in the habit of unloading its rounds on the boss because once or if you go down, that won't activate and you will have to use your self-revive. It's also smart to have a Disciple Injection as a get out of jail free card if you find yourself in a pinch. That's essentially the only reason why I have it in my loadout. I hate using it, to be completely honest. From my experience, it's extremely glitchy and unresponsive when trying to use it. For instance, when I try to grab a zombie to throw it at other zombies, I can never seem to grab it on the first 5 hits of the left bumper. So it's extremely frustrating. Like I said, it is good to have as a get out of jail free card, especially in the later phases when you may be out of field upgrades. The third phase is when I will typically deploy my Toxic Growths, and the timing on this can be tricky. The later you wait until you deploy them, the better off you will be, as this gives them a better chance of surviving through a longer period of time in the final phase. After deploying the toxic growths, it is imperative to pause your game and switch your field upgrade to Frenzy Guard. You will need to make it a focus to be killing zombies to charge it prior to the beginning of the final phase and not just pouring all of your rounds into the boss. Unfortunately, in this match, I forgot to switch to Frenzy Guard, which really made the final phase hell for me. You can also find refuge in the back corner by where you shoot the orbs to summon the golden snitch in the arena. If the boss throws a boulder at you while you're near the barrel, the podiums will destroy it before it reaches you.
Those are some sweet drops of goodness. Not so fucking tough after all. What the fuck are you celebrating? Well, shit, that's no good.
I appreciate those who are still watching at this point in the video, but buckle up for the insanity of this next phase. If you are not using gums, you will not have shields up to increase your armor strength, which means you will be buying much more ammo off the wall. But at this point in the fight, you may have bought ammo or armor in the previous phases, so you'll be most likely tight on essence. So be wise about how you spend your essence in the phases leading up to the final phase. At the very least, enter the fight with 50,000 essence, bare minimum. If you can swing 100k, I would recommend you do that. So as you see, my field upgrade charge, although the wrong one, I forgot to change it, which was a crucial mistake, is almost charged. There is a period of time where Caltheris is evolving into her final form where only zombies will spawn in. This is your time to finish that last charge of your field upgrade, which should be Frenzied Guard. Once Caltheris spawns in, you will immediately need to activate it and try to inflict as much damage on her as possible to break her armor. This will also allow you the possibility of refilling the meter for a second potential charge of Frenzied Fire. This is where the Wonder Weapon would be a much more favorable option than having the Akita, and I'm always torn on which one to go into the fight with. Going up the stairs in this boss fight is a terrifying experience. I feel like I'm cooked every time I climb them in the final phase, but as you will see, I do go down and get up pretty quickly thanks to the Jaeger and fireworks. The game states that I have all my perks back, including Mule Kick, but I do not have my third weapon, which means no overheal mechanic for me. I believe that this is a bug and it's extremely frustrating, and honestly just makes it so much more difficult to beat, and I hope this is addressed by Treyarch pretty quickly. But that is why you need to have the Jaeger in the second weapon slot, or it will vanish and you will have a non-pack punch Jaeger in last stand, which most likely means you're not going to inflict enough damage to get back up from equivalent exchange. You will also need to refrain from shooting the boss at all with the Jaeger if you go down. After my second down, I started unloading into Caltheris because I was so frustrated my Akita vanished even though I had Mule Kick, and I actually ran out of ammo before fireworks activated. I got bailed out thanks to my toxic growth killing a zombie. Speaking of which, toxic growth, its effect on the boss is so inconsistent. In my last game, the boss was stuck in the growth for an entire minute, and now watching this footage back, I don't think Caltheris has slowed down at all in this last phase. I think moving forward, Frenzied Guard or Ether Shroud is the smarter play here, especially if you deploy Frenzied Guard at the beginning and are able to kill zombies to recharge it throughout the final phase. You will also see that it appears the boulders break when the bullets from the MK78 hit them. I'm not sure if this is a legitimate tactic or just an anomaly, but I am for sure going to test this in my next attempt. Although this is far from a perfect run, I think this boss fight is definitely beatable without having to use gobblegums, especially if the mule kick third gun issue is addressed by Treyarch. And I think even if you pop one gum like shields up, this fight becomes so much easier if you follow this guide. I am switching from PS5 to PC in the next week or so, so I'm hoping to take a crack at the other game modes boss fight once that transition is complete. Not sure when this event ends, but I'm hoping to make that video before they wrap up this LTM. But I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe for more similar guides like this one. JJet out.
Constellations shut up beneath my blows. A primitive death for primitive savages!
Using stim.
I will crush you under the weight of galaxies!
Damn. There's hazard pay and there's undead hellhole hazard pay. I'm in the mud here. Oh, it better be mud.